Well, hello kids. Welcome to Metal Math. Another edition with a new guitar this time. Let me put it down. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, today's going to be a short lesson. It's just a continuation of what we did yesterday, except instead of doing tenths and decimals, we're going to do hundredths and decimals. Okay? And what I like to do when I'm thinking of hundredths, remember that TH sound at the S, hundredths. Okay? I like to think of a dollar. When you think about a dollar as a whole, think about how many pennies there are in a dollar. 100 pennies. So each penny is 1/100th of a dollar. Okay? And that's an easy way to remember this. If you have 20 pennies, you have 20 hundredths of a dollar. If you have 50 pennies, that's 50 hundredths of a dollar. 72 pennies, 72 hundredths of a dollar. Okay? Easiest way to remember hundredths when we're dealing with powers of 10, of course, and the 100 as a whole, think of a penny compared to a dollar. Okay? I drew another little chart for you here. This would be page 501 in your books on, if you want to access that on Think Central, lesson 9.2. Okay? Here's the problem. We're going to show you what 1/100th would look like as a decimal, and what 1/100th would look like as a fraction. Okay, now we have our little chart there. 100 little blocks make up one whole. I colored one of them in orange. That represents 1/100th of the whole. If that were a dollar, the orange section would be 1 penny. And if you remember our base 10 blocks, that looks like the flat block that contained 100 little cubes. If we want to write that as a decimal, there's our decimal chart, once again our place value chart. Since it's only 1/100th, we don't have any ones, there's no whole numbers. Then comes our decimal point. That tells us now everything to the right is going to be decimal or a fraction. Well, we don't have any tenths, so we would put a 0 there. And we only have 1/100th, our one little orange block, or what would be our penny if that were a dollar. So that's how you would write 1/100th as a fraction and 1/100th as a decimal. Now, at the bottom of the page, you're going to notice there's the number line again. I didn't have the room to do the full number line, so I did an abbreviated one for you. Okay, if you look all the way over here, we start out with 0 over 100. That would be 0/100ths or 0. You have nothing. But then if you were to have 1, you would have 1/100th or 0.01. 200ths would be 0.02, and so on. When we get up to 10, that would be 10/100ths or 0.10. And then if the number line were to extend all the way to the end, you'd eventually have 100 units over 100 units, which would equal one whole. Okay? And that's how you would show it using a number line. Right? So hundredths, tenths, they're kind of similar. Only difference is, once again, when you're dealing with tenths, you're dealing with 10 being the total. When you're dealing with hundredths, you're dealing with 100 being the total. And I always like to say, think about that dollar. 100 pennies, $1. 1 penny, 1/100th of a dollar. Okay? I hope that helped out. Like I said, it was a quick lesson because it was kind of a continuation of what we did yesterday. Only difference is we were doing hundredths now instead of tenths. Okay? As usual, like I said, keep up the good work. You're doing a good job. Try to get a little better attendance at our class meetings. All right, I would hope for a little bit better there, but otherwise keep up the good work, and I'll be back with a new lesson pretty soon. Okay? See ya.